Ladies and gentlemen, let me ask you something. Have you ever missed out on something big just because you didn't pick up the phone? Ever lost touch with someone only to find out later they had an opportunity with your name on it? Listen, life ain't just about working hard. It's about who you stay connected with. The right connection can take you from struggling to soaring, but if you disconnect, you disappear. And today, I'm going to tell you why staying connected isn't just important, it's the difference between success and regret. So stick with me, because by the end of this, you'll never look at your relationships the same way again. Your network is your lifeline. It's as simple as that. The people you surround yourself with, the connections you build, and the relationships you maintain determine the direction of your life. You see, success isn't just about talent, skill, or even hard work. It's about who you know and who knows you. The right people can open doors you never even knew existed, while the wrong people can close them before you get a chance to knock. Think about this. Every opportunity you've ever had came from a connection, whether it was a job offer, a piece of advice, or a chance meeting that led to something bigger. It all happened because you were connected to someone who had the power to help. Now imagine if you had missed that moment, if you had chosen to isolate yourself, to stay silent instead of reaching out. How many blessings have you unknowingly blocked just because you weren't connected at the right time? The truth is, life is all about relationships. No one succeeds alone. Every successful person, every leader, every game changer has had people in their corner. Mentors, supporters, business partners, friends who lifted them when they were down. If you think you can do it all by yourself, you're setting yourself up for failure, because no matter how talented or hardworking you are, there will always be moments when you need help. And in those moments, it's not your skills that will save you, it's your connections. But here's where most people go wrong. They think networking is only about making business contacts or shaking hands at an event. They forget that real networking is about building genuine relationships. It's not about collecting phone numbers. It's about staying in touch, offering value, and making sure people remember your name when opportunities come knocking. A real network isn't just about what people can do for you, it's also about what you bring to the table. Because when you give, when you support others, when you show up for people, they will show up for you when you need it the most. Some people say, well, I don't have the right connections. Listen, everyone starts somewhere. The key is to start where you are. Reach out to old friends. Check in with past colleagues. Stay in touch with people who inspire you. Use the tools you have. Social media, emails, a simple phone call. Don't just reach out when you need something. Build relationships before you need them, so when the time comes, those relationships will be there to support you. And let's talk about the danger of disconnection. Some people isolate themselves because they think they don't need anyone, or they're too afraid to put themselves out there. But isolation is a slow killer. It kills opportunities, kills motivation, and kills dreams. When you disconnect, you cut yourself off from the flow of ideas, support, and encouragement that keeps you moving forward. You miss out on conversations that could change your perspective, on advice that could save you years of struggle, on chances that could take your life to the next level. Success doesn't happen in a vacuum. It happens in rooms full of people, in conversations that spark new ideas, in relationships that lead to collaborations. If you're not in the room, if you're not in the conversation, you're already behind. Staying connected is about keeping yourself in the game, keeping yourself visible, keeping yourself in a position to receive the right opportunity. Now, let's get real for a second. There are people out there who say, I don't have time to keep in touch with everybody. And sure, you can't be best friends with everyone, but you can make the effort to check in, to stay active in your circles, to show up when it matters. It takes just a few minutes to send a text, to make a call, to comment on someone's achievement. Those small actions add up. They keep you in people's mind. And when people remember you, they recommend you, they invite you, They bring you into rooms you wouldn't have entered on your own. So if you take one thing from this, let it be this: your network is your lifeline. Treat it like one, stay connected, stay engaged, and never let yourself fade into the background, because in this life, the ones who stay connected are the ones who stay ahead. Life is not a solo journey. No matter how strong, smart, or talented you are, you cannot do everything alone. Every successful person, every great leader, every individual who has ever made an impact had people who supported them along the way. We were not designed to walk through life by ourselves. We thrive on connection, support, and relationships. The moment you start believing that you don't need anyone, that's the moment you set yourself up for struggle. Think about the biggest achievements in your life. Maybe it was getting your first job, starting a business, overcoming a tough time. Now ask yourself, did you do it completely alone? Chances are someone helped you along the way. Maybe it was a mentor who gave you advice, a friend who encouraged you, or even a stranger who opened the door for you when you needed it the most. Life moves forward because of relationships. The stronger your connections, the easier your path becomes. But here's where people make a mistake. Some people think asking for help is a sign of weakness. They believe that independence means doing everything by themselves. But let me tell you something, there is no shame in needing people. In fact, the strongest people are the ones who understand the power of teamwork, collaboration, and support. The world's most successful individuals all have one thing in common. They surround themselves with people who push them forward. They understand that success is not just about what you can do, it's about who you have by your side. Now, let's talk about what happens when you try to do everything alone. It leads to stress, burnout, and frustration. When you carry every burden by yourself, you wear yourself down. You start feeling like the world is against you, like no one understands your struggles. But the truth is, people do understand. There are people out there who want to help, who are willing to guide you, but you have to be open to them. You have to be willing to reach out, to stay connected, to allow others into your life. Some people say, I don't have a support system, but that's not true. The world is full of people who could be your support system. You just have to build it. That means investing in relationships, staying in touch with friends, checking in with family, networking with people who share your goals. Relationships don't just happen. They have to be nurtured. You have to show up for people if you want them to show up for you. A strong support system is built over time through small actions, calls, messages, conversations, moments of encouragement. But let's be honest, not all connections are good connections. Some people drain you, discourage you, and hold you back. That's why it's important to surround yourself with the right people. People who believe in you, who challenge you, who push you to be better. You don't need people who bring negativity into your life. You need people who bring energy, wisdom, and support. The right connections don't just help you survive, they help you grow. And here's another truth. Life is unpredictable. You never know when you'll need someone's help. One day everything might be fine, and the next you might face a challenge you never saw coming. In those moments, your network, your connections, become your safety net. If you've built strong relationships, there will be people ready to catch you, to lift you up when you fall. But if you've isolated yourself, you'll find yourself struggling alone. The most successful and fulfilled people are the ones who understand their relationships are everything. They know that life is about give and take, supporting others and allowing themselves to be supported. They don't push people away when things get tough. They lean on their connections and keep moving forward together. So if you think you can do this all on your own, think again. No one wins alone. No one succeeds alone. No one overcomes life's hardest moments alone. Life is not a solo journey, and the sooner you realize that, the sooner you start seeing real progress. Stay connected, value your relationships, and never be afraid to lean on the people who are willing to help you, because at the end of the day, it's not just about what you achieve, it's about who you have beside you when you do. Closed doors don't open themselves. If you disconnect from people, don't expect opportunities to come looking for you. Too many people sit around wondering why nothing is happening for them, why they're not getting the breaks they deserve, why no one is reaching out with an opportunity. But here's the truth. Opportunities don't just show up out of nowhere. They come through people. They come through conversations. They come through relationships that you build and maintain over time. If you're not staying connected, you're closing doors on yourself. You're shutting yourself out of rooms where decisions are made, where ideas are shared, where success is created. And once a door is closed, it doesn't magically reopen. You have to knock. You have to reach out. You have to stay involved so that when the right moment comes, you're already in the right place with the right people ready to take advantage of it. Some people think that just because they're talented, just because they're hardworking, the world owes them something. They believe that if they just sit and wait, someone will recognize their potential and offer them a golden opportunity. But that's not how life works. Talent without connection is wasted potential. Hard work without the right people seeing it goes unnoticed. You could be the most skilled person in the world, but if no one knows about you, if you're not in the right circles, those skills will never take you where you want to go. Think about the most successful people you know. They didn't just sit back and wait for things to happen. They put themselves out there. They built relationships. They stayed in touch with the right people. They made sure their name was in the conversation when opportunities were being discussed. They knocked on doors, and when one didn't open, they found another. The biggest mistake people make is assuming that if someone hasn't reached out, it means they're not interested. But life is busy. People get caught up in their own worlds. They forget, they move on. It's not always personal. Sometimes all it takes is a simple message, a quick check-in, a reminder that you're still there and ready for whatever comes next. You'd be surprised how many times opportunities pass people by just because they didn't stay connected, just because they didn't make the effort to keep themselves in the loop. But let's be real, not every door is meant to be open forever. Sometimes you'll lose connections. Sometimes people will move on and certain opportunities will fade away. That's just life. But here's the key. You should always be working on opening new doors. You should always be growing your network, meeting new people, expanding your reach. If one door closes, another should already be in sight. Because the moment you stop building relationships, the moment you stop staying connected, you put yourself in a position where you have nowhere to turn when you need an opportunity the most. And don't just think about this in terms of business. This applies to every area of life. Friendships, personal growth, even emotional support. Everything is tied to the doors you keep open. When you isolate yourself, when you stop reaching out, when you assume that people will always be there waiting for you, you create a world where you are left standing outside looking in. Staying connected isn't just about what you can gain. It's about keeping yourself part of something bigger than just you. Now, I know some people will say, I don't like networking or I don't want to bother people. But here's the thing. Staying connected isn't about networking in the traditional sense. It's not about handing out business cards or making fake small talk. It's about genuine relationships. It's about checking in, offering help before you need help, being present in people's lives so that when something comes up, your name is at the top of their mind. You never know which connection will lead to your next big break. You never know which conversation will introduce you to the person who changes everything for you. But if you cut yourself off, If you wait for doors to open themselves, you'll miss out on everything that could have been. So stop waiting, stop assuming, start reaching out, start keeping those doors open, because life doesn't hand out opportunities to people who sit in the background. It rewards those who step forward, stay engaged, and make sure they're always part of the conversation. Relationships are a two-way street. You can't just show up when you need something and expect people to be there for you. That's not how real connections work. Too many people only reach out when they're in trouble, when they need a favor, when they want an opportunity. But the truth is, if you're not investing in relationships consistently, you're going to find yourself alone when you need help the most. Think about the strongest relationships in your life. The people you trust, the ones you rely on, the ones who have your back. Those relationships didn't just happen overnight. They were built over time through effort, through mutual support. When you make an effort to check in, to be there for people, to offer help before you need help, that's when real trust is formed. That's when connections become unbreakable. But here's where a lot of people go wrong. They treat relationships like a one-way street. They only call when they need something. They only show up when it benefits them. And then when people don't respond, they wonder why. They wonder why no one is helping them, why doors aren't opening for them, why opportunities aren't coming their way. But ask yourself this: what have you done for the people in your life? Have you been there for them? Have you checked in just to see how they're doing? Have you offered support without expecting anything in return? The reality is, people remember who was there for them. They remember who supported them, who showed up, who made an effort. And just like you remember who helped you, people also remember who only comes around when they need something. You don't want to be that person. You don't want to be the one who only reaches out when it's convenient. Because when the time comes and you really need support, you might find that no one is picking up your call. Staying connected isn't just about keeping doors open for yourself. It's about keeping doors open for others too. It's about being the kind of person who adds value to relationships, who brings something to the table, who gives just as much as they take. The best connections are built on mutual benefit, where both people feel valued, respected, and supported. When you help others, when you offer value, when you're there without expecting anything in return, people remember that. And when the time comes, they'll be more than willing to help you. Let's be honest. Life is unpredictable. One day, everything is going great. And the next, you could be facing challenges you never saw coming. That's when your relationships matter the most. That's when the people you've supported, the people you've stayed connected with will step in to help. But if you've spent years only reaching out when you needed something, if you haven't nurtured those relationships, you might find yourself struggling alone. And this isn't just about business or career opportunities. This is about friendships, family, and personal growth. Life is hard, and we all need support. We all need people in our corner who care about us, who want to see us succeed, who are there when things get tough. But those relationships don't just happen. They have to be built, nurtured, and maintained. And that means making an effort even when you don't need anything. People often say, I'm too busy to keep in touch. But let's be real. It doesn't take much. A simple text, a short phone call, a quick message to check in. It's not about grand gestures. It's about consistency. Staying connected isn't about spending hours talking to every person you know. It's about making sure the important people in your life know you care. It's about showing up, being present, and making an effort. The truth is, the people who stay connected, who build strong relationships, who give as much as they take, are the ones who succeed in the long run. Because no matter how talented, hardworking, or independent you are, you're going to need people. And when that time comes, you want to be surrounded by people who are willing to help. Not because they have to, but because they want to. Because they remember how you showed up for them, how you supported them, how you made an effort when it wasn't just about you. So if you take one thing away from this, let it be this: invest in your relationships before you need them. Stay connected, not just for what you can get, but for what you can give. Because in the end, the relationships you build will determine the opportunities you receive, the support you have, and the life you create. Technology has made it easier than ever to stay connected, yet somehow people still find themselves feeling isolated, disconnected, and out of touch. It's almost ironic. We have phones in our pockets, social media at our fingertips, instant messaging, video calls, you name it. There are countless ways to reach out, to check in, to stay involved, and yet too many people don't use these tools the way they should. They assume that because they see someone's post online or because they like a picture, they're maintaining a relationship. But let me tell you something. Real connection is more than just scrolling through someone's life. If you want to stay connected, you have to be intentional about it. You can't rely on algorithms and timelines to do the work for you. Just because you see someone's name pop up on your feed doesn't mean you've had a meaningful interaction. Real relationships require real effort. And thanks to technology, making that effort doesn't take much. A text message, a voice note, a video call. It takes seconds to let someone know you're thinking about them, to remind them that they matter. But too often, people assume that connection just happens on its own. They wait for others to reach out, and when no one does, they feel forgotten. Let's talk about excuses. I don't have time. I'm too busy. I'll check in later. The problem is, later turns into never. Life moves fast, and people drift apart when there's no effort to stay in touch. And the worst part, you don't even realize it's happening until it's too late. One day you wake up and realize that the people who used to be close to you feel like strangers. And not because anything bad happened, not because there was a falling out, but simply because neither of you made the effort to stay connected. Technology has removed the barriers of distance and time, but it can't replace real communication. A relationship isn't just about seeing updates on a screen, it's about conversations, shared experiences, and genuine interactions. Think about the last time someone reached out to you, just to check in, just to ask how you're doing. It felt good, didn't it? It reminded you that you matter to someone. Now, flip that around. When was the last time you did that for someone else? Too many people wait until they need something to reach out. They'll go months without saying a word, and then suddenly, when they need help, they remember someone exists. But that's not how strong connections work. People can feel when they're only being contacted out of convenience. If you only show up when you need something, don't be surprised when people start ignoring your calls. Connection should be about more than just what you can gain. It should be about showing up, being present, and keeping relationships alive even when there's nothing in it for you. And let's be real. Staying connected doesn't have to be complicated. It's not about sending long messages every day or making phone calls for hours. Sometimes it's as simple as sending a meme that reminds you of someone, a quick message saying, hey, I saw this and thought of you. Small efforts like these add up over time. They keep the relationship alive. They remind people that you care. Now, some people will say, well, they don't reach out to me either, and that might be true. But if everyone is waiting for the other person to reach out first, nothing happens. Someone has to take the first step. And if you value a relationship, why not let that person be you? Why not be the one who keeps the connection alive instead of waiting for someone else to do it? And don't just think about this in terms of friends and family. Staying connected applies to every area of life. Career, business, mentorship, networking. The strongest professional relationships are built over time through consistent communication. You never know when a simple check-in could lead to an opportunity, a collaboration, or a door opening that you didn't even see coming. But if you let those connections fade, if you only reach out when you need something, you're limiting yourself in ways you don't even realize. The people who thrive both personally and professionally are the ones who understand that relationships are like plants. You have to water them. If you neglect them, they wither away. But if you invest time, energy, and care into them, they grow into something strong, something lasting, something that supports you when you need it most. So use the technology that's available to you. Stop making excuses. A 5-minute message today could be the difference between keeping a relationship alive and losing it forever. Stay connected, not because you need something, but because real relationships matter. Because one day you'll look back and realize that the people who stayed in your life weren't the ones who waited for the perfect moment to reach out. They were the ones who made the effort, no matter how small, to keep the connection alive. Be that person. The quality of your life is directly connected to the quality of your relationships. No matter how successful, talented, or hardworking you are, life is not meant to be lived alone. The people around you, your friends, family, colleagues, mentors, play a huge role in shaping your experiences, opportunities, and overall happiness. But here's the catch. Strong relationships don't just happen. They require effort, consistency, and genuine connection. If you don't invest in them, they will fade. Too many people go through life thinking they can do everything on their own. They believe that as long as they work hard, as long as they push through, they'll succeed. But the truth is, success isn't just about what you know or how hard you work. It's also about who you know and how you nurture those relationships. Every opportunity, every door that opens, every bit of support you receive comes from people. And if you don't make an effort to stay connected, you're cutting yourself off from the very people who could help you grow, support you through struggles, and celebrate your wins. Life is unpredictable. One moment everything is going great, and the next you could find yourself facing challenges you never saw coming. In those moments, you'll realize that no amount of personal strength can replace the power of a strong support system. The people you've stayed connected with, the relationships you've nurtured, those are the people who will stand by you when times get tough. But if you've spent years neglecting those relationships, if you've only reached out when you needed something, you might find yourself alone when you need support the most. Think about the strongest relationships in your life, the ones that truly matter. How did they become strong? They weren't built overnight. They took time, effort, and consistency. They were built through mutual support, through being there for each other in both the good times and the bad. Real relationships aren't based on convenience. They're based on commitment. If you only show up when it's easy, when it benefits you, that's not a real connection. People notice when you make an effort, and they also notice when you don't. It's easy to get caught up in the busyness of life and tell yourself you'll check in later, you'll call next week, you'll reconnect when you have more time. But the truth is there will never be a perfect time. Life will always be busy. Distractions will always exist. And if you don't make relationships a priority now, you may wake up one day and realize that the people who mattered most have drifted away. Relationships don't survive on intention alone. They require action. And let's not forget, staying connected isn't just about what you gain from others. It's also about what you give. When you make an effort to stay connected, you're not just ensuring that you have support when you need it, you're also giving others the same gift. You're showing people that they matter, that they're valued, that they're not alone. Sometimes a simple message, a quick call, a small gesture of kindness can make all the difference in someone's life. You never know what someone is going through. And just knowing that someone is thinking about them, that someone cares, can be enough to give them strength. Staying connected is also about growth. The people you surround yourself with shape your mindset, your ambitions, and your perspective. If you isolate yourself, if you cut yourself off from others, you limit your own potential. But when you stay connected, when you build relationships with people who inspire, challenge, and support you, you grow in ways you never could on your own. And this applies to every area of life. In business, in career, in friendships, in family, your connections matter. The people who get ahead aren't always the smartest or the most talented. They're often the ones who understand the power of relationships. They build strong networks, they invest in people, and they show up consistently. Because at the end of the day, people want to work with, help, and support those they feel connected to. So ask yourself, are you making the effort? Are you reaching out, checking in, nurturing the relationships that matter? Or are you letting them fade, assuming they'll always be there? Because the reality is, if you don't make an effort, those connections won't last. Life moves fast and people move on, but if you take the time to stay connected, to invest in relationships, to show up even when there's nothing in it for you, you will find that life becomes richer, opportunities come more easily, and you'll never have to face challenges alone. At the end of the day, success isn't just about what you achieve. It's about who you have beside you when you achieve it. Stay connected, because the quality of your relationships will determine the quality of your life.